Welcome one and all to a special Fact Fiend Focus, because we're going to do a Q&A. Been a long time since we've done a big Q&A with everybody. We've done a few things on social medias, but not one where we've just answered a bunch of questions, had a chat together, which I think is sometimes just a fun thing to do, because it sparks a lot of discussion.
I guess it depends on the questions, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I've cherry-picked some questions. I've also paraphrased a lot of them so that they work a bit better in the context I think they're going to be used. So we're going to open with just something very simple, something to just launch us off. What's your favourite swear or curse word to use?
I really like saying, fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, when you put the emphasis on fuck.
But I just say fuck.
Fuck's a good one to like because it's so versatile. There's that old quote, isn't it? Like, fuck you, you fucking fuck, is a valid statement. And it's grammatically correct. It's like that just shows like the versatility of fuck.
Fluff you, you fluffing fluff.
Yes. It can be used for emphasis, it can be used for exclamation, it can be used as a modifier, it can be used as like a harshener, it can be used sarcastically, it can be used offensively. It is the most versatile swear word.
But what's your favourite swear word, Karl?
Twat.
You like twat?
Just calling someone a twat.
Back in the day you would throw the word jeb out a lot.
Oh, jeb end.
That's not a swear though, is it? That's like a word that you used to get around swearing.
I feel like any insult or word that you throw out in like vitriol could be classed as a curse word because that's how you're using it. So I'm happy to accept those because they're more interesting than all just going, fuck's a good word, isn't it?
I always like just the silly nonsensical ones, like I've talked about like the term dick wizard before.
Bell sniff's another good one as well. What's one a bell sniff?
My favourite is wank sock. Because it's just such a stupid word. Because it paints an image of the kind of person that you're trying to you're insulting them.
Nobody wants to be a fucking wank sock.
I think the one that I like the one that I probably find myself saying the most though, if any word can be like just a word of exasperation, is sausage. Because that's like one I try to stop swearing as much for like top 10s videos because they tell me not to swear because the original owner did not like swearing. So sometimes like when I spill something, oh Karl, you absolute sausage.
Alright, so next one is one we've answered before, but I guess we can cover this quite briefly. How do we all meet each other?
University.
Uni.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. Nisha and I were on the same course, and then Karl and Lucas went to a society whose member was Nisha's housemate. So we all met at house parties.
People get disappointed with that answer sometimes as well. I remember someone asked me that before and they said that's a bit of I didn't find that very satisfying as an answer. And it's like, well, what would you want me to say? We met at university.
We were on a cruise ship that was sinking. That as the band were playing, each one put down their instruments and we picked them up and we realised the synergy was there.
It's like I literally went into a room that was designed like for meeting people with similar interests. So like going to a video game society to meet gamers as friends.
And just pointed and went, hey, that guy looks cool. And we got talking and became friends. Same like Nisha and Brad. Went to a house party, Nisha and Brad were there. Went to more house parties, they were still there, got to know each other.
I'd hope Nisha was there. It was their house.
I feel like it might have turned out differently though, because I was supposed to be on a different course. And I ended up on the course with Brad, so I feel like if I was on a different course, I would have met Brad, but I might have still met Karl and Lucas.
Yeah.
Potentially,
but I would have still known my housemate.
That's a good point, actually. I only know them because I know you, so I wouldn't have known them at all.
For people expect there to be some sort of mythology, it's like, we just met in uni.
Many centuries ago, when the scribes first wrote of the fiend of facts.
It's the Family Guy joke, isn't it? One of the funniest jokes they've ever done is like girlfriends, and it's like, oh yeah, we grew up in together, braided each other's hair, had these all these bonding moments. Guy friends, a robot made us roommates in college.
Yep. Okay, so the next one we've got is obviously one that's asked quite a lot, but there's a spin on this. So it's who or what is your biggest inspiration? So it doesn't just have to be a person. I mean, for me, I'd say one of my biggest inspirations has been Markiplier because I've grown up with him on YouTube.
That was what I was going to say.
You could both say it. You could both
definitely
gush
not
over
where
your
it
shared
is
love of
merchandise right now.
The player of Mark. I do respect him for opening OnlyFans and just when he use bits of my dick for charity. That's a bit of a legend move.
But Unus Annus is obviously one of the biggest inspirations for a lot of the stuff I like to do nowadays, which is just making content out of whatever the fuck you want. And this idea that life doesn't go on forever, so just make the most of it when you can. I think it's a very good message to have.
And the fact he used to, I don't know if he still does, but I remember he talked about how he used to get up at 5 a.m. every day to record content. I'm like, that is dedication.
Yeah, but then I think if he talked about it nowadays, he would be like, that's a bad idea, don't do it.
That's the thing with a lot of content creators is they're like, oh, well, when I was 18, I grifted and did 80 hours work every single day. And then it's like, 5 to 10 years later, I'm completely fucking burnt out.
We've all done it. Like, I remember Karl saying when he first writing, like, that's all you were doing for a big period of time.
7 days, yeah. I didn't take a day off in 3 years.
And then first year of Fact Fiend, before the money came in, I was working another job. So when it worked out to about 60 hours a week. And obviously you can argue that half of it was stuff I was technically enjoying because it was fun stuff. But it's still work. Like, you're still putting your creativity and your thought and stuff into something like that.
Inspiration for me, creativity-wise, would have been initially it'd be David Thorne, who is in the same vein as the Time Wasters letters, would respond like humorously to emails, and he'd like answer like job postings and stuff in a funny way. And I found myself really enjoying his style of writing. So that's when I first learned, you can write and just be funny. Because I always got told like you can't be funny.
Just you, Karl, you can't be funny.
My dad just always told me like no one's going to pay you to be a dickhead. How little did I know? And then like that led me into like reading cracked stuff, and there's like a bunch of writers there who like help form my own voice, and then I worked like on my own stuff. Like, so writing wise it was like David Thorne initially, and then a bunch of like just basically just in that period consumed as much online content as I could. It's annoying because most of the people whose content I consumed, not David Thorne, but a lot of people from the cracked days of the old alumni, all ended up being arseholes, but that's a story for another day. And then just in terms of my work ethic with my dad, because he's always the one who just tells me like, son, I think the advice he gave me is, I always butcher it, and it is, you can't plan to be lucky, but you can't capitalize on luck without hard work. So that idea of people think if you work really hard, eventually you'll get your due, and it's like, you won't. There's no hard work is no guarantee of success, but no success came without hard work. But specifically, he said when we got lucky, and I was talking to him about it, like, I feel like, we got lucky. It's not really like, anything I did. Yeah, but son, if you'd not worked as hard, you wouldn't be able to capitalize on that luck.
What about you, Lucas?
I don't really have anyone, I guess I could like cite as a specific inspiration. It's lots of cherry picking aspects of like different people that I either know in real life or have like seen online and stuff like this. It's like, obviously my parents are like a big influence, and just a lot of it is just kind of like no one is perfect, so I don't ever see one person as being like, well, I want to be, but I like to kind of, as I say, taking parts of people's personality that I see as like an aspirational thing and kind of amalgamating it into like a goal of just being a better person and trying to bring others up around me and things like that.
So we have one here that should be fairly quick. Do any of us have any weird or useless skills that we haven't yet shown off? I imagine it's hard for you, Karl, because through the videos these things just come up, so you will have shown off a bunch of stuff you can do.
Yeah, the most recent thing I guess that no one had seen me do in the videos is from my Kathy Smith, where I would try to learn. I'm doing an aerobics course. Not doing one, but like I do aerobics like every other day to try and like maintain some flexibility, because I used to be able to do the splits as a kid when I did martial arts. I'm nowhere near doing the splits as an adult because just old man bones. But I can do like the thing where I stick your leg out completely straight. I can't show it on video, but stick my leg out completely straight and like hold it for like 30 seconds, which is like I think it's an intermediate yoga pose, which is not impressive to a lot of people, but for someone who's like, I'm 33 years old in 2 weeks and like 6'3", to have that level of flexibility, I think is I find it impressive, because when I do it to show my friends it, like I showed my mum it, and she used to be like a gymnast in school, and she fell over, and like, yeah, that's right. So now she's doing the Kathy Smith to try and get it back. She's like, I'm not being embarrassed by my son.
I don't think there's anything like that I haven't at least mentioned before. Like we've seen like the Rock Band Live event that I kind of know like a bit of drums, and I've practiced that before. Like when I was younger, like I knew how to play like keyboard / piano. But I don't know, I can dunk on Karl really hard in Smash Bros.
I'd say like dyeing your hair as well, because you probably have like the level of knowledge of like, because I was speaking to someone yesterday, and they're like, I've had to not go to I can't get my hair dyed anymore. To get it professionally dyed would be too expensive. And it's like, you've got like professional, like mixing the colours and everything. People see that obviously, but I'd say that is a skill.
Yeah, to be fair, I have had a lot of like actual professional like colorists and stuff be surprised that I do it myself.
Nisha?
I don't know if I've ever shown it off, but it's the only one I thought of, because I know it annoys Adam because he can't do it. Because I could just flare my nostrils.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see it.
That is difficult. I can only do one.
Something weird about this is when I was younger, obviously you move your face in various ways. I could always move one side of my lip up like that, but not the other side. And I spent fucking ages trying to train. I can almost do it. The lip thing's like a party trick because you go like that as if you're threading a needle through it, and then you go.
My brother's good though. Something he could do as a little kid, and he can still do to this day, is he can like. Joe, when like you suck in a nostril like that and hold it down, he can do that without pressing it down.
What?
And like his trick that he'll do when he was a little kid, he'd put one finger on his nipple and put like the stuck in a nostril, and he can still do it. Because I remember asking him like at Christmas time, like, "Can you still do that?" Because I was telling a friend about it. Oh yeah, and he's like, "Well, people looking at, how did you do that?" And he doesn't know how he does it. He can just suck in one of his nostrils, and then there's like the knuckle cracking thing where I can like fake crack my knuckles like whenever I want. So it's like.
That's going to show up a lot better on your mic than it is on Discord.
You can't hear anything.
Pure silence.
But because I can fake doing it on my own, I can like do it with like any part of my body. So that was like another party trick I'd do of like, oh, I'm just going to crack my neck and be like, ugh.
We've definitely skipped over the main part of that though, which is that Adam gets annoyed that he can't flare his nostrils.
It does. He gets so annoyed about it.
Control over your body.
You can't really explain how to do it. You just do it. I'm just moving it.
Well, I can move the end of my nose, which I don't know. Not many people can do that. Right. Anyway, enough of that one. So we've got one nice simple one. What is your least favourite movie that you've seen recently?
I watch a lot of bad movies. This is now like one of my favourite things to do is like scroll through Prime. And I was on a binge watching a bunch of sci-fi movies. And I got to the point where I was watching sci-fi movies that were very clearly filmed during the pandemic. Because no one's ever on screen at the same time. And I basically, I saw one, it's a very interesting premise, and it is called God 2.0. And the idea is that God agrees to do an interview. And I thought, that's an interesting premise, let's go watch that. And it's like this arty-farty film of a guy sat in a room on Zoom like we are right now, and they film it for 2.5 hours.
Wait, God's on Zoom?
Oh no.
I need to watch this. I need to watch this and review it. This sounds amazing.
I really like sci-fi and bad movies, but that one was just, I know what they're going for, but they're not talented enough to make it interesting. But you get that film student energy, I like to call it, of they think they're really smart in what they're doing. It's like, and that just bleeds through into the presentation. I didn't like it. It feels like a student film that they expanded to 2 hours over the pandemic.
What about you, Nisha?
There's a lot of like older films I've not seen, so me and Adam are trying to do this thing where we have a movie night and we'll watch a film we've not seen, whether it's new or old. And the only one I could think of that was just very forgettable, and I thought it might have been good because it was my choice. Like, we'd take it in turns to pick. It was my choice, and I was like, that was a bit crap. That was Night and Day with Tom Cruise.
I like that film.
I thought it's just so forgettable for me. I just can't really remember it because I was like,
it is forgettable because nobody remembers it, but like I like it because it's meant to be like a parody of Tom Cruise himself and the way that he is in his action films.
Yeah, but he's not funny. That's the problem. He's not a good comedic actor. And Cameron Diaz is, but she can't carry Tom Cruise.
I mean, Tropic Thunder Tom Cruise is pretty comedic.
One that's a TV show that wasn't necessarily bad, but I did stop watching the other day. It was, I don't know if anyone's seen it on Netflix, like Man vs. Bee. Starring Rowan Atkinson.
I've seen that.
It's the fact that it was so visibly stressful to me, of like, this is meant to be a realistic human being, and he's like, just, you know, I went into that house and it's like, oh, everything's worth £1 million, do not move. Like, I just sit silently on one chair and not touch anything. I was like, this is too stressful for me. I had to just turn it off. If this was Mr. Bean and I was able to believe that this person was like a complete incompetent fool,
yeah,
like, fair enough. But he was just a regular guy calling up his kid like, oh, we'll be able to go on holiday, I've finally got a job. And then he's like putting a book on top of a hob and turning the fire on and not noticing it's burning, and I just had to turn it off.
I guess the work winner back, Nisha.
Yeah. Next door, having the bathroom done, and the walls are thin as fuck.
Nisha versus workman.
To the point. Hold on, I'll show you. This was fun.
This is. I can't believe this is a thing that happened to you.
So I don't know if you can see that. That is our bathroom wall. That is the plaster coming off.
Oh, they've just cracked the bathroom plaster.
They went through the wall.
Look all that debris.
I'll quickly go over the one that I chose, because mine's a bit more mainstream than the ones that you guys have been saying. Scream 6. I saw that when it came out, like, was it last year or the year before?
So the one where he just whips out a shotgun.
Yeah.
That's the most terrifying part of the movie. It's like, oh, I've not got a knife anymore.
The reason why Scream 6 bugged me is because the setup was fantastic. A lot of the scenes were great. The reveal at the end was shite. And it was so predictable. And Nisha's having a good time.
I'm just going to mute.
Like, there was one bit to it that was, I guess, in air quotes, a twist. But it wasn't even twist-worthy. And so it just infuriated me because all the reviews were like, oh, great return to form. And it's like, no, you liked the murdery action scenes. The actual murder mystery twist part that Scream is so well known for was wank.
My favourite bit is people complaining about it not fitting with the lore of Scream. It's like the lore of Scream is a deliberate piss take.
So the next few questions come from patrons. We asked our patrons to suggest some questions to ask us. So I've chosen a few, and again, I've paraphrased a few of these because it makes them easier for us to answer if they're either a bit more specific or I orient them a little bit differently to what works for us. Because obviously I know these guys. People at home only know them through passive watching stuff. So the first one is a question from Tanabot. And this question is there any feature that you would like to add to YouTube?
One that people might get surprised when I talk about it is there is no ability as standard on YouTube as it exists right now to block people using racial slurs. The way it works on YouTube is you have to go in and manually input words you don't want to appear in the comments, and then you have to manually review every comment that features the words that you've blocked, and then decide whether or not you want to allow or block it. And there's no option on YouTube to mass delete or mass ban, or the fact it's not by default.
I think, the obvious one to me, because I don't have YouTube Premium, is why would you lock having the ability to lock your phone screen behind the Premium? And they know why. Because it's the best feature for if I wanted to watch a podcast, I can't just turn my phone screen off. It's just frustrating that it's locked behind a paywall. I think that should just be available to everyone. And then I think as a creator, I would just like the community page to be more useful, because I'm a person that views on consoles and stuff. I'll watch YouTube on my Xbox, and I don't see any community posts from people I subscribe to and stuff. It's it feels like a feature that's only built for certain users and not others, and it's okay, but then I'm not reaching out to my entire community then, am I?
I want a way to better cater recommendations, because at the moment all you can do is say you sub to things and ring the bell, and you can say I don't want to watch this because either I've already watched it or I don't like it, and then you can also say hide a particular creator. But I want things where, for example, there's some channels I follow not because I like their specific that specific genre of content, but because that's what my friends make, and I want to watch their stuff. Take for example Tom Kirkbride, who does Sleepless Readings. He reads out scary stories from Reddit in his deep booming voice. I don't want to be recommended other people that do that kind of thing, because a lot of them just use automated AI voices to read out these stories and then just post them, and you get those recommended because it's the same genre of thing. And I'd like a way to be able to say I like this channel but I don't like this genre, and various other additions like this where you can just a little bit more cater the stuff that you actually want. What if you like a specific game but you only watch one creator who plays it? So that's what I want. I want to be able to be I don't want to watch this video for this reason, and I want to watch this video for this reason, so the algorithm can go, okay, we'll better suggest things that this person clearly likes.
Something I don't understand as well is how they always recommend videos you've already watched all the time.
Yeah,
it's just the red bar across these videos, thinking, I've watched that, why are you recommending it again?
I think there was a JXy video about Doctor Who, that one that's 5 hours long. I watched the entire thing, and then a few days later I get recommended it again. It's why am I going to rewatch a 5-hour video essay that I've just watched?
I can speak as someone who has YouTube Premium. For the music, here's a thing that because I like my music, and I like shuffle. And here's the thing about YouTube: if you make a big playlist and you pick shuffle, if the shuffle just so happens to land on the last song in the playlist, it stops playing.
It doesn't have the loop background thing.
Nope. And that's the thing. But you could go from the first song in the playlist to the last song, and then it won't do the shuffle anymore. because it's reached the end of the playlist. And it's like, how have they fucked that up? How is there not a thing if it just keeps going through?
What a weird thing for them to not put in.
Yeah. Also, the shuffle button is not on screen. It's buried in like one of those 3 dots at the top. It's not just a thing. You can't just go onto a playlist and press shuffle. It's real bad, especially when they keep pushing YouTube music. And I'm using it, but it's really frustrating when I click shuffle and I get to the end of the song in the playlist and it won't play the playlist anymore. It's like, but there's still songs left that you've not played. And it also doesn't change the seeding sometimes, so it just like it keeps going in the same order. It's like, that's not shuffle.
In the same vein of, catering to what you want, is there's some YouTube channels where I'm like subscribed for one thing and not the rest of the content.
You just
and it's
like
like
Death Battle, not the Death Battle podcast.
Yeah. So, for example, like if I could just subscribe to the playlist or the series or whatever on there.
Every time they update this playlist, I want a notification.
One I've been having a lot recently is that I really like watching Viva La Dirt League, and I've got the bell turned on so I can watch their sketches when they come out. But they also now do shorts of their sketches almost daily, and the shorts also give me notifications. It's like I don't need to see the shorts. I've already watched the full sketch, and there's no way to just turn on one or the other. You have to have every notification on for that channel. And that's a fantastic one actually. That's a really good recommendation. Right, next up. So you guys, you're all aware, there's one question we get asked more than any other question. And that question is
there a topic you want to cover but haven't for whatever reason, or some variation thereof?
So we were asked a variation of, which I've slightly paraphrased to make it a bit more interesting for us to try and cover. So this was asked by Seth Brooks and then backed up by Ron McCurdy.
And then about 40 times on Twitter.
Yep, and I've written, is there a topic for a video that you've researched but found out that there was nothing in it that had that unique Fact Fiend twist? So we always talk about there being this thing where you're researching it and you go, this is what I'll write the article about. This is the bit that makes the article title. Is there a topic that you love that you've researched and when you get to the end of it you're like, there's nothing here. There's literally nothing I can work with.
Well, there probably is, but I don't remember what it is. By definition, it's not memorable.
Yeah, fair.
The question, like you said, we always get asked is there a topic you want to cover but can't? And the obsession people have with there being drama behind the scenes of things that you can't do is infuriating to deal with after 5 years of the channel we obviously talk about whatever the fuck we want.
I mean, yeah, the one that's going live tomorrow ends with you saying abolish the monarchy.
We've talked about like penguin necrophilia as well,
Like we talk about what we find interesting, but there's people they cannot accept. There's got to be some, or like when a video gets taken down, they assume there's like some sort of drama, like what's going on? It's like there was a mistake, or it was not meant to go up this day.
I could see it being cool in like a social situation where you and your friends watch the same channel and they're discussing something, and then you're like, oh well, did you know there's this thing they couldn't do? And your friend's like, ooh, really? What is that thing?
I guess it makes more sense with some other channels, maybe because like things are run by, bigger companies, or they're part of like one of those media groups and things like that. But when it is very clearly just, as we've stated many times, like 4 of us just kind of figuring it out and not being owned or like, agreed with anyone else, it's just we do what we do.
I think the how not to do business videos are probably the closest people are going to get to that kind of drama of, we didn't do this spot because they wanted us to do this and we didn't want to do it.
Obviously, I don't really have much to add to that because I've not done much research, only that stint we had when it was just us 3 doing the hosting. And I just remembered when I researched a fact, we did the video on it, and then when I was doing the fact checking during the editing, I realised it wasn't true. So I couldn't do it.
What was that video on then? What was the fake fact?
So
no, don't tell anyone, because then they're like, what's the fake fact? What's the fake? That just causes drama.
I can give a clue. It was about Jen Snackles, so shockingly.
Oh my god, I remember this one. Yeah, I remember.
If we never tell people, that's what people are going to ask. But I guess a variation on that question we get asked is there a video that you would change, or for whatever reason? And the answer is, the only ones that I would change or go back and do differently are ones where we cover subjects where the assholery of the person involved is now more known. So, for example, we had a few videos about Harry Potter when the channel first started, and I was a fan of Harry Potter. I'm not anymore, for obvious reasons. And I would go back and do those videos differently. But when I look back on them, it's like, well, we made them with the knowledge we had at the time. And I would like to think if we had the knowledge that we do now about J.K. Rowling being a shithead, we wouldn't have made those videos. But it is frustrating to see like comments on them. I've been like, this aged poorly, or why are you talking about Harry Potter? It's like, look at the date. I got one, I think I noticed something the other day, it was on like the Roman Reigns video. So I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's been champion for 3 years. And I just pinned the comment and put, look at the date the video was released. 5 years ago. My least favourite comment is someone saying, this aged poorly, because 5 years have gone past and something in it is not right anymore. It's like, do you want us to predict the fucking future?
So the next one's just relatively simple. Esmeralda Bruno just said, what are the heights of the crew relative to each other? So Carl's the tallest, then I think it's Nisha, and then me and Lucas are about the same.
So we're all 6'7".
Yeah, so Carl is 8'9".
Brad, Nisha, and I are all very close in height, and then Carl's clearly taller. Like, I'm 5'7".
Yeah, I'm 5'7". Nisha's 5'8".
I'm technically, I always say this because I know it annoys some people when you're really specific. I'm 5'8" 3/4.
Yep. I'm 6'2" 3/4, but I say 6'3", and the joke that I make is if guys can add 2 inches, I'm adding that 1/4 inch, because when I'm wearing socks or a pair of shoes, I'm 6'3", and I've actually
thick are
had
your
guys...
socks?
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm stood up straight with
Yeah.
good posture, it's no different. But guys will add 2 inches.
So the next question is from JS, and I've paraphrased this a little bit as well. So, what's our favourite video that we've ever made? So it doesn't just have to be Fact Fiend. What's the favourite thing you've ever put your name on and uploaded?
The one telling Donald Trump fans to fuck off.
There we go, alright.
Because I still get people mad about it to this day. And it's like, nothing says I'm not mad, like being pissed off 5 years later. Like, I think to this day, people are still salty about it. I remember when it was summed up to me of, if anything, it's like a huge compliment to your content that you evidently upset these people's most deeply held beliefs that a misogynistic racist is their god, but they still like your content enough to ignore that. Our content is good enough where people ignore the fact that I absolutely hate them and everything they stand for, and would like just not want to be near them in real life, and yet they still watch my content. You know, trans rights, gay rights, Black Lives Matter, and there's like, and it's just every time I think about it, it makes me giggle. Because I just imagine them sat there going, oh, I'll show him. I'll watch more of his videos. I'll go into his comment section and improve his interaction rates and tell him that he's a cuck. And it's like, okay, I'll just sit here and have a coffee, mate. Thank you.
What about you, Lucas? What's your favourite, what you've ever made?
It's really difficult because, like, I think a lot of the time with, like, you know, recording Fact Fiend stuff, it's like, well, it's just things that I enjoyed recording at the time. That, especially if I didn't edit the video afterwards, it's like it was 20-30 minutes of my life that I never thought about again, that I enjoyed, but just, yeah, we moved on and recorded another 3 videos that day.
What about like the side channel videos, or maybe one of your series on your Let's Play stuff? Have any of them stood out?
There was a couple of like hilarious moments trying to watch Karl learn Breath of the Wild when we did a playthrough of that, and then like there is still a video like in the void for me to edit. I really enjoyed doing a couple of like Fact Feud episodes. That was just really fun, but then you know it just ended up being a lot harder to edit than I realised, and was like, oh, I regret some of that decision making part of it.
Yeah, that video I did with the chase was so complex because I wanted to use all the graphics.
Oh yeah, you put way more effort into that than I did the Fact Feud.
Yeah, but it's a good video. My favourite one that I've ever made, and it doesn't need any explanation, is probably 5 totally legit ghost sightings. Which I'd see Nisha laughing. She knows. What about yours, Nisha?
So I really enjoyed the series on the Untitled Side channel. Before Google Translate got good. When I did the Truth Devil series, because they were just so funny. Like, my favourite sorts of videos are where you just have a laugh. Like, you crying laughing. So I like the Truth Devil ones, because especially, and that was it, Tom said his ass was donkey, which was the Tom Cruise big ass one. I think that was probably the best one out of the lot that I did. And any of like the Don't Laugh challenges, like that one where me and Carl tried not to laugh when you read the Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Quotes to us, I'm just struggling. But I love stuff like that. And then if I'm going to mention a Fact Fiend video, that would also bring me to the Hellraiser one where Carl is dressed as Tommy, because I was crying the entire time. And they're the most memorable and my favourite videos.
I think the most I laughed in the Fact Fiend video was Karl's Halloween costume with the fucking plastic mask.
I do enjoy Karl's little Halloween cosplay videos.
The last patron question is from Beria and Uranus. And the question is there anything that you love to partake in but you rarely get to experience? So their example was they love In-N-Out Burger, but because the queues are always so long, they don't go very often.
Well, oddly enough, a berry in the anus.
Good old berry in the anus. That's for your birthday, innit, this week?
Mine's a quick one. I like the snow. I like going for walks in the snow, but we never get snow, so that's sad for me.
I can't think.
Karl gets to do everything he wants whenever he wants.
It's probably like takeaways and stuff, which I don't. I would eat takeaway every day if I could, because I love food. Like, food is like my one vice. Like food and sugar. I have a horrible sweet tooth. I could just eat bags and bags of sweets. I could eat like shit every day, but I know that I can't. So I hold off, and once a week I'll have a takeaway, and then after my takeaway I'll have a Diet Coke, and I'll have a handful of Skittles from the Skittles that I got for Christmas. And that's like my limit, but I know I could do that every single day.
How much self-control do you have to have a handful of Skittles and not eat all the Skittles?
I used to have 5 sugars in my tea, and I used to have 5 cups of tea a day.
Wow, that's almost as much as a can of Coke.
I'd do it every day if I could. Do you know like that Lois meme where she's looking at the pills and she's like, that's me looking at the sugar for my tea when I make it, and I'm like...
I have a couple. There's one thing I've not done, but I would love to do, but haven't experienced it because I'm not fit enough. Is like stuff like Ninja Warrior.
Oh, I'd love to do
like
Ninja Warrior.
Wipeout. I'd love to be able to do that, but I'm so unfit, and obviously I've had issues with my knee and just health issues. I feel like I'd injure myself.
I would love to do Sasuke so much. I want to do the Japanese one though, where they're like, no, fuck you, do it. It's like, it's raining though, it's like, no, fuck you, do it, be a Ninja Warrior. I'm like, okay.
But it's something that I do occasionally. Again, it's food related, but I don't do it very often because it's expensive. It's Five Guys. That is my favourite fast food restaurant ever. But it's like £10 just for a burger. It's just, but it's so good.
Do you want to go Five Guys?
I ain't got time.
Just remembering though, like In-N-Out Burger, I remember where like we went to In-N-Out Burger, if you remember, Brad.
Yeah.
And then everyone kept asking us, did you order off a secret menu? And then I said, no, because it's a secret. And they went, no, but everyone knows about a secret menu. And I went, it's called the secret menu, and I'm from another country. And I was like, yeah, but everyone knows about the secret menu. It's like, we didn't. It's like, but did no one tell you about it? It's like, it's called the secret menu.
Also, if it's the first time you've ever been to a place, why would you order from the special menu and not try the main stuff?
But that's what got me, and every time we mentioned it, someone went, oh, did you order off a secret menu? It's like, no, we didn't know about it. How did you not know about the secret menu? It's like, just a part of that sentence, not give it away. No, but everyone knows about the secret menu. Then why is it called the secret menu?
There's not really many things I could think of. Like, I guess, yeah, just in terms of price, I would just say, like, I would enjoy traveling and going on more holidays. But, like, you know, obviously it's real expensive. Like, last year, went to Japan for a couple of weeks, and I could have spent, like, another fucking month over there. Easy. But, you know, it's just one of those of, like, you know, we're trying to save to buy a house, like, holidays come second, so... Yeah, I guess that would be my answer, which is a bit of a boring one, but there's not really anything else I can think of that... You know.
So that's the end of the patron questions. I have some questions here that I have chosen one for each of you specifically. There isn't one for me, because I'm asking the questions, it'd be a bit weird. So I guess we'll start off with Nisha. Nisha, what is the nichest hobby you have?
One of the things that I have done a few times and I actually really enjoy it, I've got an example with me as well, is using those alcohol paints. Because I really like painting and drawing, but I'm not very good at it. Not yet. That's one of the things I want to learn. Is like, that's one of my hobbies. Well, that's something I want to do for hobbies, is painting and drawing. Mm-hmm. But with the alcohol inks, it's one of those things where you could literally do it in 10 minutes, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. It always looks really nice. And I made coasters last year. Hold on. Which I have one here. It's just stuff like that.
No, that's nice.
It looks spacey. I think that's why I like it, because you could just mix colours and then use alcohol ink or alcohol, like, I forgot what it's called now. It's basically you put the inks on and then use this, like, I don't want to say repellent. It's like alcohol stuff. It kind of makes it spread. even when I've done some where I feel like this is not how I imagined it would look, it still looks really nice. Yeah, it's just a nice little hobby that I've done occasionally. But one of the things I could mention as well is one of the series I did on the side channel, and I'm probably going to move it to my own channel, is Nisha's Niche, where I literally try different hobbies or different crafts, different skills to see if I can find a new hobby that I actually enjoy or I'm good at. So
next up, we'll do Karl.
Okay.
Karl, what is the most intriguing rabbit hole that you have gone down when researching a topic? Is there anything that when you were researching it and you just kept going because you were like, wow, this is so fascinating?
Well, that springs to mind is a few years ago now when I was still writing scripts for Today I Found Out. Because I not only did the scripts, but I also did the research for questions. So I would research questions that I thought would have an interesting answer, or that people had asked online, like Quora, stuff like that. I do research and what's a question someone's asked that doesn't have a definitive answer or has an interesting answer. So stuff like what happens if you get hit by an ambulance, stuff like that. Or at what point does a speed sign come into effect? And discuss the misinformation that the rules and laws about it. And one that I just remember I went on a massive binge of just research because it ended up being fascinating was, do dogs with big ears hear better than dogs with small ears? And it sounds stupid, but then I ended up researching it, and it's the thing that I ended up discovering from that is that dogs with bigger ears tend to get a lot of hearing problems. You've probably heard this about Cade and Oryx, that they're most likely going to get hearing problems as they get older. Mm-hmm. And that's why the calls that you'd use for hunting dogs and hounds is clicks and stuff like that, stuff that can still get through even when they get hearing loss. And the reason is that a lot of dogs are bred very specifically, and the big ears aren't for listening, they're for smelling. And I was like, wait, what? And then I researched that, and it turns out the reason dogs have long ears, the dogs that hunt anyway, is because the long ears drag along the floor and they pick up the scent and drive it towards the nose. So when I got to the end of the article, the script, and realised the reason dogs have big ears is to smell better, blew my mind. And that started with a very simple question that I ended up researching and just delving into. And just by the end of it, I was I thought it'd be quite simple. Someone must have done a test with this, what dogs have the best hearing. And then ended up going down this rabbit hole of, okay, now I'm reading research on hunting dogs and their rates of deafness in hunting dogs. And then it was bloodhounds and how specially evolved they are and bred to be hunting and sniffing, and that comes into their ears, and then it's their ears and then the folds on their face. Hunting dogs have folds in their face which trap scents, and that's why dogs that are good at smelling have weird scrunchy faces, because it can hold the scents more. And then it's how good are they at smelling? Oh, dogs can smell through time because they are able to layer scents and in their head know when the scent was created, thereby creating a timeline of scents, which is almost impossible to think of a human analog for, because can you look at something and tell what time period it was created? So imagine seeing layers of paint.
Yeah, I guess maybe rust. We could see it through the layers of rust.
But you could see it, but you wouldn't know when the rust was created, but a dog would. A dog can smell something and know that someone walked through here wearing these kind of shoes, but then someone else walked over, and then someone walked a dog, and then a bird landed there, and it'd know what order that happened in. And I just remember by the end of it, I just sat there and went, this has been 7 hours. And I don't think that script ever got published.
Lucas, if you could remove any fighter from the Smash roster, who would it be and why?
At the moment in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I guess the easiest answer is Steve from Minecraft, because he's super OP and banned in all the tournaments. But to me, Steve from Minecraft is the epitome of why Smash Bros. Is such a cool game, because they took Steve from Minecraft and put his actual mining stuff into a fighting game where even if you're stood on different elements within stages, you're more likely to find metal or wood or rare resources and shit like this, and then you can only build blocks and build items if you have the materials within your inventory to build that thing. And it's the fact that exists within a Smash Bros fighting game and is translated so well is incredible. I guess, Karl, you can help with this discussion of Smash, obviously, but yeah, it's really tough as well, because even Echo fighters, where they're ostensibly Peach and Daisy, they are the same character, but it's an extra cool skin. It's I also kind of don't want that taken away, because it's just a quite easy way to give you an extra character that represents someone's favorite. And
It'd probably be something like Dr. Mario.
That's the thing, yeah. It's one of those of like probably just one of the clone characters that's like a bit boring that could have just been a skin.
Dark Pit.
Dark Pit is an excellent example.
Mechanically, he's not that different. Mechanically, is almost. He used to be different. There was differences right in the older games, but they play so functionally identical that I don't think anyone would mind if you removed him.
So we have 3 more questions, and these are ones that I thought would be perhaps have a little bit more conversation than some of the other ones. So the first one of these is that while working for Fact Fiend, is there anything that we've done that we would have previously thought that we wouldn't enjoy doing? So like an example for me is I quite enjoyed doing the research part, the fact checking, because even though that's not something that I ever really did before, it is interesting, like Karl said before, going down those rabbit holes of you're just researching something simple, and then you're like, oh, actually, that bit's weird. That bit's not something that Karl mentioned. And then going more into that and learning about something that you wouldn't have previously known about.
I quite enjoyed like being off camera. Like I'm not usually, I don't mind being on camera now as well. Like sometimes I'll have days where I just don't want to be on camera. But back before I joined, I was always like, I'm behind the camera. I'm just doing the filming. I don't want to do anything. Because I used to hate how I sounded and how I looked on camera. So I just cringe all the time. But then like, after you've been doing it for a while, you kind of get used to how you sound, how you look. And I ended up just, enjoying it more than what I did at the start or previously before that. Like when we did stuff for uni, I hated being in other people's short films or projects. But now it's just like, I don't mind. I quite enjoy it some days.
During the Fact Fiend period, it necessarily isn't like related entirely to Fact Fiend, but I kind of didn't think I would enjoy doing like streaming, like Twitch streaming and stuff, and I very much got into it because I had several friends that watch a lot of Twitch and YouTube and stuff that were like, well, if you're a YouTuber, you need to be on Twitch. Like, you need to be streaming. And I was like, I don't really want to be doing that. Like, I prefer the safety of being able to pre-record, know that everything went okay, know that I was, like, as entertaining as hopefully I can be, and being able to edit it down if there were moments where I feel like I made a mistake or feel like it was boring. And I think over the years, like, I just kind of eventually listened to people and went, okay, I'll try Twitch streaming out. And I've kind of really grown to enjoy it now.
Yeah, I hate everything. I always knew that I'd hate being on camera, and I've never enjoyed it. But it makes more money than being behind the camera, so I still do it.
Well, very succinct. Thank you, Karl. Thank you for your input.
Well, it's that thing, isn't it? Of like, oh, it must be great. It's like all I'm there is I'm constantly having my appearance judged. Everything that I say is torn apart. I've constantly got people just trying to push against boundaries that are very firm and clearly established, and then questioning me on when I defend them.
Well, like, I think one thing that I've heard you mention is just when you got into doing some of the video editing and like editing for Wiki Weekends and stuff, like you found fun in like finding fun clips and stuff like that to put in.
That's more like, that's similar to because obviously I have an idea of how I want the video to look in my head, so it's nice to be able to do that. But again, it's still, I much preferred writing, and I don't get to do as much of that as I'd like to. I like, scripts. I'm still remembering scripts I wrote like half a decade later. I'd love to go back and write scripts again, but it just doesn't pay as much. It's not as, YouTube's not stable, but at least it does quite well. But it's a difficult thing to do because you're basically constantly putting yourself out there and opening yourself up to the wider public, and it's not something you ever get used to. And if I did get used to it, I wouldn't like to think what I'd be like if I did. Because the kind of people who seem to be used to it seem to all be arseholes.
Well, interestingly, the next question is, for me at least, links to that sentiment, which is, have you learned anything from YouTube life that you've applied to daily life? And one of the things that I've taken is not to take criticism as personally, because there's a lot of arseholes out there, and sometimes when people throw insults out or say stuff like in your mind, you just got to be like, well, that's their issue.
Yeah, it's like everybody to us is just like text and an avatar, so technically like everything holds equivalent weight to one another, and you don't know whether it's someone that's like, an angry 15-year-old that has like very little knowledge about the subject, or someone that like actually does know what they're talking about or does want to, do more than just shout at you.
So that's one of the things. It really helps give you perspective on how much things matter or don't matter. We making fun of movies. Like when I was younger, I was part console warrior of like, oh, Xbox is great, GameCube shit, all that sort of thing. As you get older, it's like this really doesn't matter. It really, and the people who give the biggest shit about it, it's like it gives you that perspective.
And I think that's maybe like one thing that I've learned from this whole experience is like just trying to be a bit more active about like, making welcoming spaces for people that I want in our communities and stuff, of like trying to be more active about saying, we believe in human rights and we don't want bigots here and stuff, because a lot of that, I think, in my brain was like, well, people kind of know that. People will see our personalities and they'll understand and they'll know what kind of people and politics we do and don't agree with. But
do they though?
Karl made it so obvious from day one what side of the political spectrum he was on in terms of certain opinions on things and just generally like morally, and people still didn't know.
Yeah, and I think for me the biggest difference is not that I'm the one who wants to be outspoken, but that it means a lot more to me when I see like a comment or someone reaches out and says like, it means so much to me that you are willing to talk about these subjects and stand up for our rights and be representative of us and be a welcoming community, like actively, and tell bigots to go away. Like those kind of comments mean a lot more to me than the angry comments of like, well, you told me to fuck off.
Struggled with this one. I mean,
well, that's the thing. It's like it's a job. Like at the end of the day, it's a job, isn't it? It's like, ooh, what perspective does your job give? It's like it's a question you get asked by like your manager, isn't it, in a 6-month review? Like, oh, so what perspective on life has this job given you that I like not being like homeless? And it's fine. It's fine to treat it as I've always treated YouTube as a job. I mean, because that's why do you do YouTube? It's like because it pays well. So if it paid worse, I'd do something else. It's like you can't say that. It's like why not?
The way the question's phrased is there anything that you've learned from the YouTube, like either working for it or the life of being on YouTube or that kind of thing, that we've applied to our normal lives, like outside of that platform?
Well, I've learned that I'm not very good at scheduling my time. I need to start applying a schedule to my day-to-day life.
But then I guess you could say that YouTube life, because you have to work for yourself, what you've learned is how to then better apply your time.
But have I though? I mean, I'm better now. I have been better for this past year. I think what made it worse was lockdown, was the fact that you could literally get up at any time and just work because we had nothing else to do. So I'd get up at like 11, play Animal Crossing, have a coffee, and then just work the rest of the day till God knows when. And it's not really healthy. It was not healthy.
That's one thing where I've said like I would really struggle to go back to like a job on a timetable, at least like immediately going back to it. Maybe if I was able to like go part-time and slowly work that skill back up. But the fact that right now I just go, well, I'll go work when I feel productive, is like that doesn't apply in a normal everyday job. Like back when I was at Nando's, I couldn't just be like, well, I know my shift was like this 10-hour shift, but I don't feel productive right now. I'm gonna come in later.
Can I have some chicken, please? No, I'm not feeling productive. So the last question we have: if we were given £100,000 right now that we can only spend on Fact Fiend, what would we do with it?
Split it 4 ways.
That's literally
Road
what
trip.
I got down.
Fucking
I've got to split it 4 ways so we could just make some videos without worrying about being paid by YouTube.
Just split it 4 ways and pay everyone.
Road trip.
Where's your road trip to, Nisha? Where's the fact wagon
Get the
going?
fact wagon.
Finally buy the fact wagon.
Facts on tour.
Are you the only one who can drive, Nisha?
I would have to drive the fact wagon.
So Nisha's the driver of the fact wagon. Years ago, so if people don't know what we're talking about with the fact wagon, I have no idea which video it was, but years ago we were talking about going on tour in the fact wagon, and it was like described as being like the mystery machine, but the fact wagon. Wait, which one of us is which then? I mean, Karl's got to be Shaggy, right? 'Cause he's tall and lanky.
I can take that.
Would I be Daphne or Velma? I won't be Velma. I'm not that smart as Velma. I'd have to be Daphne.
And Lucas has got the glasses.
Lucas can be Velma.
I'll be Velma.
Which makes me Fred.
It's like people always ask the similar question of like, ooh, ooh, if you go back and do things differently, what would you do differently? It's like sell out super fucking hard immediately and buy my mum a house. All we've done by having that really hardline stance of we're not going to say is that the moment that we shift ever so slightly and make decisions that are like critical to the channel surviving, people give a shit for it. Whereas if we just sold out immediately, no one would have cared, and my mum would have a house. And like looking back on that, that's frustrating because why did I give a shit what people on the internet who don't care about me think? Why did I not just sell out and buy my mum a house?
Because you set the line that other people haven't bothered setting. So it's when you cross that line, people notice it, whereas nobody else made the line.
I was holding myself to a standard that was like no one on YouTube cared about, and I could have sold out and bought them a house. And then people get annoyed at that. I'm like, oh, that's not a very nice answer. Like, what would you do if you had the opportunity to go back in time and like quadruple your earnings? Would you have done it? It's like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think Fact Wagon's the best answer. Fact Wagon road trip. So that's the end of the questions. I guess if you have any more, put them in the comments if we'll find time to look at them. Mm-hmm. But we've got to end as we always do with these focuses, which is reading out the list of our patrons on the VIP tier. So a big special Fact Fiend thank you to Freddie HG37, Benjamin Fridman, Shay Pinder, Lachlan Sim. Wait, I said this wrong last time and I'm sorry. I think it's Sims, but I think I said Smiths or something last time. I'm sorry if I get it wrong again. Aero QC, Binger, Kynan Plays Games, Popsicle Tart, Rotoscope, Anagu, Jeremy McMillan.
And a special thank you to Duke Schnuglis, which is still my favourite name, Richard Chisenhall, Amy Brundridge, Barriet N. Uranus, which is also another favourite, JS, Tyler Mason, Fiore Lily, Eric Toledo, Aaron Clausen, Bubba P, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Hannon DOA Argove.
And I would like to thank JubJub366, Sloan Rockefeller, Chabisa Matawere, Stefan Skylar Wolf, Sam Bartram, Michael Garavati, Onyxia, Michael Holloman, Darth Turkey number 28, Jacob Ursenbach, and of course, last but not least, Harrison Rupp.
Well, last but not least for your list, at least, Carl, because I have to say a special thanks to CD Bad, Cal Tessa, Nesta Ailman, Brina Lawless, Thani Saeed Al-Ramathi, Kester Stutz, Sean Watson, My Shoes Hurt 69, The Boy Lambert, Impy, Zeren King, and James Martin.
Well, that's another Fact Fiend Focus wrapped up. Thank you very much to my guests for today, Carl, Lucas, and Nisha. Hope everybody's learned a little bit more about us and some of the stuff that we've done, liked, or don't like. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everybody.